my past history. I'm not going to get into all that because I will for y'all another time. But what I will tell y'all is March 1st, 2018, my mom had just got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. My dad was on hospice. And I went by the house to help my dad around the house. I told my dad I'd be right back. And when I left the house that day, that was the last time I saw my dad alive. I went down the road to a buddy's house, and I was caught up in a drug bust. Cops ran in, and I knew my parents were dying, but they were trying to tell me, but I was pushing it off. I was in denial about it. The thought that they were about to die or dying soon never hit me, never once hit me until the gun was to my head when the cops ran in. I'm like, this can't happen right now. This can't happen. This is not the time. Both my parents are dying. I can't be locked up. Because I always feared being incarcerated when my parents died. That was like a fear I had. So I went to jail. I was back in jail, right? So I was talking to all my homeboys, everybody. You know how it is when you go to jail. You see the same people you've always saw. And I'm telling them, like, look, it's over with for me. It's over with for me. Like I've caught 4. I got 4 convictions. I just caught 5. It's over with for me. Most of us would think it would be over with, right? A 5th felony. Well, and I was angry. I was angry at God because my parents were dying. And I just had a lot of bitterness. I was blaming God. I was like, God, why me? My parents are dying and then this now. So I went to the first chapel service I could, which was the next day. And it was during that first chapel service that we had a guest speaker that was coming through the jail. Her gift was prophecy. And she didn't know I just got there yesterday. She didn't know that how long I'd been there. She knew nothing about me. But she came up to me and looked at me. And she spoke to me and she said, it's not over. That's how God speaks to me, though. God speaks to me in my same lingo. He'll use somebody else to speak to me just like I would speak it, so I know it's real, right? She said, it's not over with. It's not over, she said. She said, you're about to change your ways. Your lifestyle's about to completely change, and you're going to have to change your friends. She said, you're going to change all your friends. Everything's about to change. And it gave me a spark of hope. It gave me a spark of hope, her speaking that over me, right? So immediately my anger turned to a puddle of tears on the floor in that chapel service. And I told God, I said, I can't handle this on my own. I can't do this. I need your help through this. I said, if you'll get me out of this, I will give my life to you. I will submit and surrender to your calling on my life. I made a promise to God that day that I would do that. The day I thought my life was over, that's when I thought my life was over. I said it a couple times that day. It's over. My life is over. But the day I said my life was over and I cried out to God that same day is the day God really started. He started rewriting my story. You see? He started rewriting my story. And that's a powerful thing because I'm not somebody that law enforcement, they had been dealing with me. They had been dealing with me in my area, right? So immediately, I started feeling different. I started wanting to change my ways. And I remembered a buddy of mine that was doing really well in this program called Teen Challenge. He was doing really well. God started putting it on my heart. Maybe I should ask the judge to do this. My carnal mind was telling me, no way. There's no way the judge and the DA is going to allow you to go to a program like this. They've been dealing with you. But God was telling me, just watch me work. God was telling me, sit back and watch me work. 4 months later, it took me a lot of rejections. They rejected me numerous times. They told me no. The DA was never for it. But my 5th court date in, the judge overrode the DA and they let me loose. They opened the doors to that jail and let me walk right out the front of it. Now, I wasn't able to see my dad. I did have to go to my daddy's funeral in handcuffs, But we're not going to get into all that. But what I'm going to tell y'all is I'm here, and I've been freed. I've been walking in freedom. And I'm going to teach y'all the lesson this lesson or this sermon today is no freedom, no fear. But the no freedom is K-N-O-W. No fear is N-O, right? So what is fear? What is fear? Fear is an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by expectation or awareness of danger. Also, an instance of or a state marked by this emotion. What is fear really? Fear is a spiritual force. It's a spiritual force. Anybody that's been, fear drives us. There's a spirit of fear that we have to cast down. Satan, destructive power. Fear is Satan's destructive power. Fear is also the substance of things not desired. Faith is what? Does anybody know what faith is? Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence not seen. Fear is the opposite of faith. Fear is the substance of things that are not desired. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline. Now, timidity in some translations is fear, and self-discipline in some translation is sound mind. The enemy started planting seeds of fear into my life at a very young age. A very young age. Fear that kept me from getting in front of anybody. I hated being in front of people. I hated talking in front of people. And like my first grade, I won a spelling bee. I spelled really good when I was in first grade, right? So I won the school spelling bee. Okay, so the next step was go to the district spelling bee. Well, I beat everybody in my school. So then it came time for me to go to district. I called in. Well, I didn't call in. I told my mom I was sick and didn't want to do it. That's fear. You know, 6th grade elementary graduation, I didn't walk. Out of fear. Fear somebody might get an applause louder than me. Or, just, fear of embarrassment. Algebra. I didn't really get algebra when I was in high school. I knew one way not to be embarrassed and mess up, and that was just not try. And that's what I did. Fear kept me from even trying in that area. I was on a drama team as a youth. I went from Central Louisiana to Atlanta, Georgia, to my aunt and uncle's big church over there. And by the time I got there, I had this one skit that I had to do by myself. I was okay doing skits with other people, but it was like the grand finale. Out of fear, I never got up and did that skit. Went all the way from here to Atlanta, Georgia, to my aunt and uncle's, and I still couldn't do it. High school graduation. I didn't walk during that either. I graduated. But fear. I was scared to death to be in front of anybody, speaking, or just to have to be the center of attention in any crowd. Why do y'all think that that the enemy would install fear in my life at such a young age to keep me from talking in front of people or from getting in front of people? The enemy did that to keep me from ever preaching the gospel. He knew he had to start at a young age.
Amen.
Installing that fear. Satan can't do nothing to you apart from your fear. He can't. Satan couldn't just say, I don't want you speaking the gospel ever and shut my mouth, right? This is how Satan works. He starts putting little thoughts of doubt in your mind. You're going to get embarrassed. They're going to laugh at you. He starts that off at a young age. And if he starts that off at a young age, by the time you get older, that fear is done conceived. Its birth was conceived then. Now it's done birth into something that you can't control. Dude, I'm here to tell y'all, when I got to first phase, where y'all are at, you have to get oral reports, right? When I was doing my oral report, I would break out in sweats, and I couldn't speak in front of people. It was just still, fear comes in many facades and facets. Fear is not just being scared. Fear comes with doubt, anxiety. I can't even list them all. But like I said, the enemy can't do nothing to us apart from our fear. Out of fear, we run ourselves into his traps. And this is what I mean by that. The enemy can't do anything to us apart from our fear. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, Satan, is is like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. Now, if y'all know anything about lions, you have the lionesses, and you have the lion that roars, right? What the lion's doing when he's roaring, he is roaring, and then the prey that's in the jungle, that's in the woods, when he roars, it takes off running. Out of fear, looking back to see where the noise come from. And out of fear, he runs himself right into the lionesses. That's why that scripture right there says, your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. In fear, out of fear, we run ourselves into everything. I'm sure y'all can relate to that. You know, how many things have y'all got into in y'all's life that was really just because y'all was tripping out of fear? You know, like I said, fear comes in many different disguises. That scripture, 1 Peter 5 and 8, it says, be self-controlled and alert. I was painting this, not in here, but I was painting Brother Sam's trailer at the hill, and I was painting really, I've done a lot of work to that trailer, inside the trailer, and it was looking really good, right? So I was painting the walls. I had some real pretty beige paint on the wall, and I was cutting in the trim. I was doing some white trim, okay? I'd already had the walls completely painted, was now just working on the trim, and I seen a wasp. The wasp was in the room. Now, out of fear, because of the pain from a past infliction, y'all get what I'm saying? Out of fear from the pain of a past infliction, when I seen that wasp, this is how I imagined it. A big old stinger sticking out, you know what I'm saying? Serrated edge. You know, maybe even a little fire coming out of it. Because I didn't want to get stung, right? So, like, that's how I'm picturing this wasp. It's like bad to me. So, I got my paintbrushes dipped in white paint. So, I swat at him. Boom, I miss. I'm like, zzz. So I swat again. Miss. And then he gets on the little window right there in front of me, so I smash him into the window. I'm like, I got him. You know, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, dang, I just got paint on the window glass right here. So I wiped the window glass right there, and when I stepped back, dude, I done slung white paint all over that freshly painted room. That's how the enemy works. Do you see what I'm saying? And when I did that, I'm like, man. And I could almost hear God laughing. He's like, you got to use that in sermon. You've got to use that. That's how God speaks to me. God speaks to me through sermons, through circumstance. You know? And look, if any of y'all have a fear of getting in front of people and talking, dude, it's not easy. It's only a few of y'all. You know, but it's not easy. I still have fear doing that, and that's still the enemy coming against me, trying to keep me from telling y'all something that y'all might need to hear. Same thing. If y'all don't like being in front of crowds, if y'all don't like being in front of people, that was probably something that was birthed in y'all, conceived in y'all, a seed planted in y'all from a young age to keep y'all from ever getting in front of somebody and preaching the gospel. You know? Because fear's a liar. The enemy's a liar. He's going to point his finger. He's going to tell you can't do it. He's going to tell you look funny. He's going to tell you people are going to laugh at you. And that's what makes us get up there and stutter and stammer, because we got the enemy in our ear. The enemy has direct access to your mind. He has direct access to your mind. He can't do anything apart from your fear, but he does have direct access to your mind. He can whisper in your ear, you know, but we can also shut him down. We can also shut him down. Look, back to self-discipline. It says self-discipline in 2 Timothy 1 and 7 when I first read that. It says the power of love and of self-discipline, which is also translated a sound mind. A lot of these rules that we give y'all around here, man, is teaching y'all to be self-controlled and alert. If I'd have been self-controlled when that wasp came in there, if I'd have been alert and self-controlled, I wouldn't have ruined the whole job that I did that day. You know what I mean? That's what we're teaching y'all, tucked in shirts and the hats and the cabin rules. Just all the little rules, even like down to shaving in the morning. That's self-discipline. And it makes no sense to y'all at this stage. I know it doesn't, because it didn't me either. Like I was thinking, why don't I shave the night before? That way I don't have to shave in the morning because I'm getting up early, right? It's not about that. It's about obedience. That's what it's really about. We give y'all rules so y'all can discipline yourself on the obedience. Because without obedience, if you can't follow our little rules, how are you going to follow when God's telling you to do something? When it's something that's going to stretch you. When it's something that's going to make you do something you can't do on your own. God asks us to do stuff that we normally can't do. That way we have to rely on Him. You know, he puts us in situations that we can't handle on our own. That way we have to rely on Him. That's why we get caught up in some of these situations. That's probably why y'all are here right now. Or why I'm here. Because you couldn't do this on your own. You couldn't do it without God's help. There's no way. This program is not set up in such a way that somebody can just fake their way through this program. With all the rules, with all the discipline, dude, you'd be miserable if you didn't try to submit or surrender to God at some point in this program. You'd be miserable. Fear. Amen. Mental bondage. That's what I was in when I was in that world. I was in mental bondage. My fear, I wasn't scared of nobody. I wasn't scared of people. I wasn't scared of them harming me. What I was scared of was them disrespecting me and people see it. Or people playing on me, people see it. Or somebody trying to get my dope and people seeing it. You know what I'm saying? So out of fear, I stayed on edge all the time. And when I say I stayed on edge, cuz I was locked up 5 months before I even got to this program. So 5 months plus a couple months here, I still hadn't grown my toenails back because I'd be so on edge out in that street garden that I would dig my toenails into my shoes and I'd pull my toenails up. I didn't grow toenails for months. Now that's fear. That's a bad spot to be. That's a bad spot to be in life. Because why is that such a bad spot to be? Because now I'm anxious like that. I'm on edge like that. So now everybody around me's on edge like that. And basically it's gun's drawn. That's how the enemy gets you. He starts doing that. He can't just kill me. But he can make me operate like that and put myself in bad, testy situations. Right? You see what I'm saying? Put yourself in some bad situations. And then boom, before you know it. And look, guess where I would have went if I would have died in that state of fear? Guess where I would have went if I would have died on edge like that, living that lifestyle? Dude, that's what the enemy tried to kill me the 3 years before I came to Teen Challenge, stabbed, shot at numerous times, fought. When I say getting it in, I was getting it in, bro. I got more broken bones, more stitches, shed more blood in the last 3 years than I did my whole entire life. Whole entire life. Because the enemy was trying to kill me in that state of fear. He was trying to kill me before I came to where I'm at today. He was trying to kill me before I could share this with y'all. And y'all might get some freedom from it. You know what I mean? And I'm sure everybody's story's the same in here. I'm sure before y'all got here it was getting bad. Really bad, right? That's why the enemy was trying to take y'all out. Before y'all can bring others the truth. That's what I'm doing now. I'm bringing y'all the truth. I'm telling y'all the truth about fear. So now y'all can see it, recognize it as the enemy. And don't be caught up in anxiety. Don't be caught up moving bad, tripping. You know what I mean? Because look, I was on edge, always worried about somebody else or something. I always felt like somebody was out to get me or something was out to get me. I knew something was out to get me. I couldn't tell who it was. So I'm going around packing pistols, pulling my toenails out like I said, just constantly knowing what is this over me trying to get me. I didn't understand. That we didn't wrestle against flesh and blood. You're not wrestling. Stuff is out to get y'all. Especially now that y'all are saved and serving God. If y'all ever go back out, dude, y'all got a mark on y'all's back now. If y'all ever go back out, the enemy's not going to give you a chance to come back again and do this again. He's going to take you out. You know? Because we're not, like I said, what we're fighting, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. But look, thank you for freedom.
Amen.
Thank you for freedom, man. Look, here's the deal, man. Y'all have all been freed. Y'all have all been freed at this point. You know the only way to win this battle? The only way to win this battle is something we've never done in our life. But the only way to win this battle is to surrender. Mm-hmm. You have to surrender. It's the only battle in your whole life that the only way you're going to win it is by surrender. And that's complete surrender. Surrendering your life. Surrendering your life to God, you know, like, and not just saying, I believe in you, Jesus, because I don't believe it works like that. I believe to believe in Jesus is to trust Jesus, to trust him with our life. The word says, even the demons tremble at my name, but they're not saved, right? So just to say, I believe in you, Jesus, I don't feel like that's what that means. I feel like to believe in Jesus, you have to put your trust in his plans for your life. Kind of like, I would say, Joseph, you can do this, man. I believe in you. That's how I interpret that. I'm believing in Joseph to do something. Well, I'm believing in Jesus to take my life and to make it a better life like his word promises. That's believing in Jesus, trusting in you fully. And that's what I've done. Romans 12:2. Do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. His good, pleasing, and perfect will. There is freedom in Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not talking about just physical freedom. Of course, I've been free. They let me out of prison. All I did was start serving God. I didn't do nothing on my own power. You know, that's all I did. They opened the doors. But freedom from mental bondage. Bondage of addiction. Bondage of addiction, man. That's big in itself, dude. Scratch everything. Just to not have to wake up tomorrow and to know that you've got to go grind to get your fix. Because y'all know how it is. Ain't nothing getting in our way. That is bondage at its finest, the bondage of addiction. Because with the bondage of addiction, you got bondage of fear that comes with it. And with the bondage of fear and bondage of addiction, you have true bondage, which is incarceration. But really, you can be free while you're incarcerated. You can trust in Jesus while you're locked up and be free while you're locked up. That's really not bondage. Look, man, I would get my peace when I was locked up. I lived so hectic on the street in that lifestyle, staying in fear so much that when I would get locked up was the only time I would open the Word of God and the only time I'd pray. Even if it was praying, God, get me out of this. You know, but I would find peace while I was locked up. So I'd be out on the street and I would actually be thinking about, man, I'd be better off in jail. I feel better locked up, man, because at least I have the peace of Christ. At least I'm free. Even though I wasn't free, I would find freedom from behind the razor wire and behind the brick walls. Because I was really free. I was free in here and I was free in here, right? And that's not nothing to look forward to. I'm just saying, if Jesus can set me free from behind them walls and give me freedom and peace from in there, what do y'all think he'll do for y'all if y'all just surrender y'all's life? Just surrender. Throw your hands up. You know what I mean? I can't do it on my own. We try to fight. We try to fight it, man. Look, so I would be locked up. I would have a relationship with God. I would be doing really well and peaceful and anxiety free and in freedom. But I would get out. Now Jesus set me free, right? When I'd be in there, I'm free. I'm free at that point. But when I would get out, I would go around the same people,